Okay, we're back. And we're going to do some sample problems for section P5. Oh, did it that time. So we're going to do some example problems for this section so you can get an idea for how we apply completing the square and some of the problem solving things and factoring things that we've talked about. So let me get a new page. Okay, so here is, I'm just going to pick some problems out of the textbook as examples. Here's number 11. I have no idea what page it's on, but you can look that up. It says 2y squared minus 8 equals 6 minus 2y squared. So I got to get all the y's on one side, everything else on the other. I'm going to add 2y squared to both sides. So this will give me 4y squared minus 8 equals 6, because these will cancel. Add 8. 4y squared, those will cancel, equals 14. Y squared equals 14 over 4, which is equal to 7 over 2. And then I'll take the square root of both sides, and we'll get y equals plus or minus square root of 7 over 2. Is that a good answer? No, it is not a good answer, because we can't have a fraction inside here. We can't have an irrational number in the denominator. So this is the same as square root of 7 over square root of 2. And to rationalize the denominator, I need to multiply by square root of 2 over square root of 2. And I'll get radical 2 times radical 2 is a 2. Oops, I just forgot my plus or minus. Okay, so I'll get a 2. And then square root of 2 times square root of 7 is the same as square root of 7 times 2, which is the same as plus or minus, can I fit it? Radical 14 over 2. This, jammed at the side there, is the solution. Okay? You must do this. Must. You can't leave it like that. Okay? It will get marked wrong. You got to rationalize the fraction inside the square root sign. Okay, here's one for completing the square, number 13. X squared, that's an ugly 2. Oh well. X squared plus 6x minus 7 equals 0. So I'll move the 7 to the other side, because that's the first step. Get all the x stuff on one side and get all the constants on the other. Then I take this number and divide it by 2. And then I square it. And that's what I add to both sides. So this side is going to come out to be x plus whatever I got when I divided by 2 here. So it's going to be x plus 3 squared equals 7 plus 9 is 16. Square rootify, I'll get x plus 3 equals square root of 16. I know what square root of 16 is. It's 4. So x equals 3 plus or minus 4. You could give that as your, no, you can't give that as your answer, because we can certainly simplify that. That would be 3 plus 4 and 3 minus 4. So x is equal to 7, or 3 minus 4, negative 1. That's how you're going to give your answer. If this was x equals 3 plus or minus square root of 7, something like that, you would just leave it like this. There's no reason to separate it. You need to know that there's two solutions, but I would leave it like that. This thing you can easily simplify, so you need to go through those steps. Plus, it's fun. Holy mackerel. That looks like a monstrous problem. Okay, we'll do that one. This looks a little frightening, but I'm sure it's not as bad as all that, or maybe it is. This is number, looks like number 17 in the book. Okay, this is a simple problem. You're going to enjoy this. 2x squared minus 7x, not so bad so far, plus 9 equals, x minus 3, x plus 1 plus 3x. Could that be any more inconvenient? I don't know. So we got to get all the x's. We're going to try to use completing the square. No, we're going to solve it any way we can. So let's simplify this first. I got to get all the x's on one side and see what it looks like. But first, I got to multiply this thing out. 2x squared minus 7x plus 9 equals, so first two, what happened? Outside 2, inside 2, last 2. Okay. Now I'm going to cancel some stuff out. I can see this thing and that thing are going to go away. Okay. So now I got 2x squared minus 7x plus 9 equals, there's an x squared here, an x, and a minus 3. So let's get everything on the other side and see if we can factor it. So I'm going to do a minus x squared minus x plus 3 to both sides. Okay, so this will give me 2x squared minus 1x squared is x squared. Minus 7 minus 1 is minus 8. And 9 plus, and 9 plus 3 is 12. Okay. So now we either got to factor or complete the square. I'm going to look at factoring. And the factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Well, none of those add up to negative 8. Oh, wait, so I can do minus 1 and minus 12. Minus, that should be a 6. Minus 2, minus 6, minus 3, minus 4. Oh, right here, those will add up to give me a minus 8. So this is going to be x minus 2 times x minus 6 equals 0. And just for fun, you wouldn't be expected to do it. Let's check and see. So that would give me x squared, last outside 2, oops, minus 6x inside 2, last 2. So x squared minus 8x plus 12, and sure enough, that works. Okay, but let's go back to our original equation. So if we have x minus 2 times x minus 6 equals 0, the only way this can be true is if this factor is 0, or if this factor is 0. So I set the factors equal to 0 and I solve for x. And I have x equals 6 or 2. There's two solutions because it's to the second power. Here's our solutions. That was not as miserable as I thought. Those are really the kinds of equations. There's some in the book that I used last year that was quadratic equation-y things, but that's just plugging into the formula. So I think this is a good representation of the kind of problems we're going to see, other than minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. You know what'll be fun? Let's do this with this one, because I think these numbers will come out kind of convenient. So we know what the answer is already, right? We know it's 6 and 2. So, oh, I shouldn't have erased that, right? I wanted to erase here. There we go. because this is our polynomial we ended up with. X squared minus 8x plus 12 equals 0. So let's shift to something else. Okay, so A is equal to 1, B is equal to minus 8, C is equal to 12. Okay, so minus B, draw your long divisor line, minus B minus a negative 8 plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 8 squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2A. So this will be x equals minus times minus is positive. Minus 8 squared is 64. 4 times 12 is 48 over 2. So 64 minus 48, that looks like that is 16. 8 plus or minus the square root of 16 over 2. So let's move this. Okay, there we go. I'll make that thing go away. Boop. Okay, we back on pen? Yeah, we are. So this is going to be, oh no. There we go. So this is going to be 8 plus or minus 4 over 2. Now, can I just divide these two and say 8 over 2 is 4? Can I do that? Absolutely not. You cannot. Because if you're going to divide something here, you have to do it to everything in the numerator. So I can factor the 2 out from both of these and call that 4 plus or minus 2. Or if you're uncertain, we can just figure out the numerator. 4 plus 8 is 12 over 2, or 8 plus 4. 8 minus 4 is 4 over 2, right? 8 plus 4 is 12. 8 minus 4 is 4. So 12 over 2 is 6, and 4 over 2 is 2. Look at that. Same thing. Isn't math wonderful? So that's how you use the quadratic equation. Usually not so much fun. Okay, so that's section P5, solving quadratics. It's going to be a really important skill that we're going to use, especially when we talk about conic sections and curve sketching. Okay, so I am going to stop it here, and we'll pick you up in the next chapter. Bye.